Welcome everybody to the greatest Node.js tutorials that have ever been made. My name is Bucky Roberts, and in this video series I'm going to be teaching you guys everything you need to know about Node.js. Now, if you're watching this video series, I'm going to assume that you guys have heard of Node.js before, but you may not know exactly what it is. You probably just know that it's becoming really popular and that you can use it to make cool stuff for the internet. But I don't know, maybe you went to your website and you started trying to figure out what it was and you saw this. Alright, scalable applications. Let's see, it's an event-driven non-blocking. Alright, that's confusing. Let me just go and see if I can see what these examples are. Oh, yeah, look at this. Now everything makes sense to me. So, again, going to the website and starting, trying to read everything, they don't really do a great job of explaining what the heck this thing is for a complete beginner. So let me put it in really simple terms. Node.js is a way that you can make really cool server-side applications. And that means that if you want to make, let's say, a website or a chat program or a game or even like a social network, any web application that you can use to actually connect people, Node.js is an awesome choice. Now, if you guys are like, all right, you know what, I already know PHP, for example, sounds like it can do all of those things, so I'll see you later. Maybe I'll catch you in another tutorial series. Well, here's the thing. The reason that Node.js is becoming so popular, for one reason, is because it's awesome for real-time stuff. For example, if you were to make a chat application, and of course you would want to be updated in real time, well, PHP isn't that great for those kinds of applications. It's kind of slow and it uses a lot of memory resources and it has a bunch of drawbacks. And again, to explain all of the benefits of Node.js, I'm going to have to show you guys some examples. So the first thing we should do is install this bad boy. So in this video I'll show you guys how to install it for Windows. In the next video I'll show you how to install it for a Mac. So again, you guys probably figured this out. Might as well just click this big green install button to get started. And this is going to give you a MSI file, which is essentially just a wizard. And it's really easy to install actually. So wait till that gets done. Double click it. And do you trust it? Okay, I trust it. Actually, let me minimize out of this. Alright, so right here you pretty much just want to keep all the defaults. Next, let me read through this. Okay, I definitely read all that. Next, it's going to install it in the default location. Do not change this, please. Make sure that it's right in your program files. Next, everything looks good. Next, install. Do we give it permission to? Yes, of course we do. Alright, apparently it completed. Easy as that. Let's go ahead and finish this. And now what do? I mean, how do we know for sure that it actually installed? Well, the first and probably the easiest test that you can do is you can actually go to your command line by, if you go to your start menu, and then you can either search for or just type cmd, and that will pretty much open up the command prompt. So what it did whenever it installed it is it set up a system path. So now we can actually run it by just typing the word node. And just to test, again, I know that I'm not explaining the syntax or anything. This is pretty much just to test and make sure that everything is installed properly. But if you type console.log, and inside here you just type something like, I don't know, just type anything you want, bacon. What this means, again, is just print some text out to the console, or in other words, this terminal. So again, don't really worry about the syntax. Just copy this, make sure everything is working. If it's not, then go back and make sure that you kept all the defaults whenever you installed it. But if you see the word bacon undefined, then you're good to go. So of course, what we can do is we can type a bunch of Node.js in this awesome looking, command prompt. But fortunately, they have programs that are a little bit, more aesthetically pleasing than this thing that looks like it was developed in 1940. So first of all, I want to mention that I am a big fan of free IDEs and pretty much software that you can develop Node.js in. However, for this tutorial series, I'm going to be using a JetBrains IDE to type all my code, and I highly recommend it. If you actually buy this, then it is, let's see, $50. But guys, trust me, you guys want to download this IDE. It is hands down the best platform for developing Node.js applications. And I know that everyone has their personal preference. You know, some people like potatoes, some people don't, whatever. But this is not a competition. This is the best. And another thing is for students, or if you're just teaching it or even using it for an open source project, it's completely free. So guys, splooge on this. I know it's 50 bucks like I said, but it's well worth it. If you got to steal some money from your grandma or anything, then that is fine. So download this. Again, if you want to try it free for 30 days, do that. And actually, I don't have this exact IDE installed on my computer. I actually have another IDE from this company, but they're pretty much the exact same thing. Mine is called IntelliJ, but again, if you install it, you're going to see that it's pretty much the same thing. This IDE is more geared towards Java development, but I'm going to show you guys how to install a plugin, and it's pretty much going to give you the exact same functionality as a web store. So the first thing we want to do whenever we have our IDE installed is create a new project. So go here, and what we want to choose from here is just a static web application. This is just a blank web application, nothing fancy. It's pretty much like the most basic or project that you can make. So I'm going to click next, and from here, again, just choose wherever you want to save it. I am going to save mine in a Node.js file that I already made before this little tutorial, and I'm just going to name my project like Bucky. So I want it to be named Bucky. I'm going to save it in a directory Bucky. Looks good. Finish. Do I want to create it? Yes, I do. And check this out. Alright. Right now we just have a directory called Bucky, which is our main directory. And this folder right here is pretty much just all the settings for JetBrains, your IDE, like your preferences and stuff. We actually never are going to edit anything in here, and this is just a file that references. These are pretty much just JetBrains files that came with your IDE. Nothing to do with Node.js, so don't worry about these or ever worry about touching them. So we pretty much have a blank project, a blank folder with nothing in it. So the first thing, of course, we need to do is create some kind of file. Well, if we right click our main project, we can select new JavaScript file and name this file app.js. So this is going to be our starting point. In other words, whenever we start making Node.js applications, our program is going to look to this file first, and whatever code is in here, it's going to run. So it's like our main file, simple enough. So if I just want to, actually, we'll just do this. So console.log. So just like before, we can type bacon, and if we either right click and run this, check out what happens. So we pretty much have the exact same thing as the command line. However, as you can see, this little environment is a little bit cleaner and gives us a few more tools than that boring black and white command line. So there you go. That is set up and running perfectly. However, there are a few things that I want to take care of. The first thing is this. Whenever we start running actual applications, we of course want to make these for websites most of the time instead of, just having the user use a terminal or a command prompt. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to go up to this little drop down menu in the top right, and I'm going to choose Edit Configurations. And this is pretty much saying how do you want to set up your program to run. Well, if you click the Browser Live Edit tab, then we can say this. After this program launches, then open it in, and you can choose whatever browser you want. I, of course, am using Chrome as my default. If you don't have it, then Get it? So again, after this launches, then don't just run everything in the terminal. Actually open it up in an actual website. And of course, you can't just open it in Chrome. You need to give it a website to open. So I'll put HTTP localhost, which means my computer, port 8888. So again, whenever we're making Node.js applications, we're going to have to say that this is the correct port in the correct location, but we'll take care of that whenever I show you guys how to do everything. Just setting everything up now. So just hit apply, OK, and if we run this right now, then it's not going to open in Chrome, and that's because we're not giving it any code to open in Chrome right now, because all this says is print some text out to the terminal, which is this. So I know it's kind of confusing, but you guys are going to see later on whenever we start making actual Node.js apps that it actually makes sense. So one other thing that I want to explain is this. Eventually, when you start typing actual Node.js, you're going to get some warnings from your IDE. So in order to get rid of those warnings, we need to tell IntelliJ, or actually think if you're using WebStorm, then everything is going to run fine. But if you're using another IDE from JetBrains, then this is what you do. You need to go to File, Settings, and first of all, you need to install the Node.js plugin. So like I said, this WebStorm right here, if I actually just click it, it's already set up for Node.js. However, if you have, I don't know, another product like IntelliJ, this is mostly, as you can see, for Java. However, you can tweak it to pretty much use with Node.js. So this is how you do that. You go to the plugins and type in Node.js. Now you're going to see a plugin called Node.js, which pretty much means I want to be able to write Node.js code in this piece of software. So you install that. I of course already have it installed, so that's why it says uninstall for me. But you will see a thing that says install. Click that, and once it's installed, this is another thing you need to do. Actually, you could have kept that open, but if you go to File, Settings, you can click Languages and Frameworks, expand JavaScript right here, and click on Libraries. Now, as you can see, we now have a few additional libraries that is capable of understanding. So we want to just enable Node.js and Node.js globals, again the core modules and globals. And again, you don't really have to worry about exactly what this is right now. We're just telling our program that says, hey, whenever we start typing Node.js code, don't get tweaked out and freak out because you don't understand what it is. So those libraries, whenever we enable them, it just says be aware that we're going to be developing Node.js in here. That's it. So now we are good to go. Again, in the next tutorial, I'm going to show you guys how to set it up on a Mac, and also if you guys want to use a free IDE, I'm going to show you guys how to download and install Sublime to use with Node.js. So it's going to be cool. I'll see you then.